Big controversy in California now over a school's ban on a line of clothes. The critics of these clothes say they include items that are Nazi-style helmets and a lightning bolt S similar to those on Nazi uniforms during World War II. There it is. You decide. Now the folks who make the clothes, which are reportedly inspired by a local dirt bike stunt team, are threatening to sue. To our legal team now to break this down from Los Angeles, defense attorney John Manuelian, and in Washington, business attorney Seth Berenswey. Good to see you both.
Hello, Shep.
All right, John, clothes. Once again, the olds are telling the kids what they can wear, which will ensure and assure that the kids will wear it. What's wrong with these people?
Well, I don't know. By your tone, I think I'm on your side. Here in this case, you have to show.
It's just an old movie. I mean, I've seen this movie before. Is my only point, but I'd like to know the facts.
Exactly. And actually, I'm glad you pointed that out. This is very similar to that case in the Bong Hits For Jesus case.
Oh,
3 years ago. It went to the Supreme Court. They decided that message was not protected speech, but it's different in this case, Shep. I think in this case there's no evidence of substantial injury or harm that's happening, and in that case they did show disruption. The case in Morse versus Frederick, which was the Bong Hits For Jesus, clearly states that there has to be an actual disruption or substantial evidence. And unless you have that, you just can't go and say that this speech is violative. So in that case, the U.S. Supreme Court decided against it. Ninth Circuit said it was violative. Who knows? This is a conservative jurisdiction, a conservative court. I think they'll probably say it is violent.
You had a teenager in suburban Boston that committed suicide earlier this year because she was subject to cyberbullying. Shep, how is it possible for a school to be able to have to respond to cyberbullying but not be able to set regulations that it feels depicts neo-Nazism on shirts? So I just couldn't disagree more on this.
Well, I just wonder...
Can I respond to that,
Yeah,
Shep?
of course. Please go ahead.
I love to respond to that. In that case, there was clear proof of substantial injury or harm. There's no evidence whatsoever here that any child was intimidated or anybody was in fear that these people would do anything. It's just a very fashionable clothing line for motorcycle racers. If there was some sort of injury or substantial evidence of that, I would agree with the counsel. But at this point, there is no such evidence.
It's about a dirt bike team. I mean, what happens when, I don't know, you live in New York and you start wearing Philly jerseys? When can the schools say you can't do that? That's disruptive. I mean, exactly where is the line? And why do the adults care so much? I mean, if they're so out of touch that they don't even get this is about a dirt bike team, maybe they ought to pay a little more attention to other things about their children, you know?
There's nothing unconstitutional with their approach on this.
John, 10 seconds.
Well, in the case of Tinker, there is clear ruling on law by the U.S. Supreme Court that says that school speech is fundamentally protected unless you could show some sort of harm or injury, and I just don't think the evidence is there.
John Manuelian, Seth Berenswey, good to see you both. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. The chairman of the Republican National Committee has been taking intense criticism for